here has a business that sells something? Right. What is your business?
Personal coaching and public speaking.
Personal coaching and public speaking. Why? What are you saving people from when they come to you?
Failure.
Failure. What kind of failure?
Financial failure. If it's an executive just making wrong decisions and losing face, losing his job.
Okay, so you save them from that. Okay. What about you?
Financial planning.
Financial planning. What do you save people from? What salvation do you offer?
Retirees, they want to be able to know that the money's going to be there.
Okay. Would that be valuable to you? You don't even know what he did.
I was writing.
I'm kidding. He's a financial planner. Hi. He's a financial planner. And what does he say? What do you save people from?
From outliving their assets.
From outliving their assets. That's a pretty big thing. Would that be important to you?
That would be important.
Take your hand like this. Okay. Now face her. Put your hand on her. Put your hand on her head. Get ready to pass out. Say, "You're saved!" Totally kidding. Okay. The point is, everybody in here is saving someone from something else. Now, that's really funny, isn't it? But if you ever want to see people who are powerful communicators, people who tell incredible stories, who use mythology to its fullest, I encourage you to watch any place on your TV dial Sunday morning from about 8:30 in the morning till noon, because those people are very exceptional at it. What I want to talk today about, though, is myths and stories and how we can use them to be more persuasive. What are myths that are prevalent in our society today? What kind of myths exist? Tell me, what is it?
Vampires.
Vampires are a myth. Okay?
Horatio Alger stories.
Horatio Alger.
The dollar's worth 75 cents still.
Okay.
Get rich quick schemes.
What about them?
Get rich without working for them.
Get rich without working.
That's what I should say.
New age.
We can all spend more than.
Oh,
Sure we can. You just can't survive it.
Lose weight while you're asleep.
there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
The government still works for us.
Sorry.
Government work. Yeah.
What else? What other myths exist?
Harry
What are
Potter.
big myths that move our society? Big myths that we build our whole societal structure around.
Social
Government will take
Security.
care of us.
Government will take care of you, kind of like government works. Social Security. What else?
Religion.
Very good. Religion. What else?
Get a good job.
What's that? Get a good job?
Our job is
The big
security.
gold watch.
Gold watch.
Okay.
Freedom.
Out of all the things that are up here, there are a couple of myths, and the rest are lies. So the difference is, what is the difference between a myth or a lie? Does anyone know? Is a myth a lie? How many people here would say myths are lies? Telling a myth, telling a lie, same thing. Raise your hand if you think so. Okay, one. How many people think myths are not lies? Okay, if they're not lies, what are they instead? Embellished stories, right? They're embellishments of the truth. Okay? So, vampires, we know, is a lie. Or not. Is it true or not true?
Depends on who you are.
Depends on who you are and what you believe, right? Is there mythology that supports vampires? Is there a history that would support it? Okay. So it's probably a myth. Government works. Myth or lie?
It's a lie.
It's really neither one. It's an interpretation, right? This is a, it's really, yeah, it could be both, but you know, this is really a marketing message. Government works. Social Security, myth or lie?
Something that used to work that doesn't anymore.
Well, that's an interpretation. Social Security is reality right now. Social Security exists today. It's provable. Your parents or grandparents probably get a Social Security check. They're taken care of. Religion, myth, lie, reality.
Reality.
Raise your hand if you think it's reality. Okay? Raise your hand if you think it's a myth. Raise your hand if you think it's an outright lie. Okay? Great. For the ones of you, and this is not a sectarian argument, for those of you who raised your hand again if you believe that religion is absolute reality. Raise your hand. Okay.
It exists.
It exists.
Just like the government exists.
Religion exists.
Yes.
Because it's an organization and an institution, right?
Yeah.
But what is the myth behind religion?
Salvation.
So what else?
Depends upon the religion, but
Heaven and
resurrection, Christ saving.
Right.
Buddha.
Christ is a savior.
Specific rules to live your
Specific
life.
rules to live your life by. Right. So the myth of religion is this, that there's a God or some other being that's higher and more powerful than us that probably created us and all of those things. Can you introduce me to that being or person?
No, concept, but not him.
The concept you can introduce me to, but you can't introduce me to the physical being, correct?
You can't even introduce you to Confucius either, but he was there.
He was there, correct. But he was a real person in history, just like Jesus was a real person in history. That's not an argument. Nor is it an argument that thunderbolts came out of the sky and lightning came out of the sky during the time of the Greeks when they created a lot of the Greek mythology. See, what myths really are people's best interpretation of the world around them and their best attempt at explaining what is happening around them at the time. Sometimes those myths prevail because the story is so good. And they could continue. This is what we call, in business and in marketing and advertising, what?
Branding.
Branding. What else? Word of mouth, right? When people take your story and tell it and move on, that's branding. So what we're going to talk about today is called the hero's journey, the myth model for business storytelling. Now, I'm going to have to go through this fairly quickly. I'm also going to tell you this right now. I've only taught this information now, today, as of today, less than 100 people. I've taught pieces of it, but I haven't taught this whole thing. And the only people who have ever had benefit of it are clients who I've worked with personally. But Kevin asked me to do something deeper for you, and the other event I'm talking asked to do the same thing. So I'm going to go through this. Some of it is going to be, I'm going to go through very quickly. A portion of it's in the book, that's why you want to get the book, but the rest of it is not, and I'll tell you how you can get this. So how do myths form? Number one, they're based on people's current understanding and interpretations of their reality and the events around them. Number two, myths persevere because of the fundamental lesson or truth behind them. So, in the case of religion, are there fundamental rules and truths that are not bad to live by? Would anybody say any of the 10 Commandments are bad ideas? No. Even if you're not a religious person, are those lists of rules a bad idea? No, they're not. So, what's that?
The neighbor's wife thing.
Yeah.
The neighbor's wife thing. I agree. I agree. That one should be, there should be some latitude. But so the point is, though, you can take that and you can say, you can say that this is a good idea. I think I'll share it. Let me give you another example of a myth that exists. How many people here have ever heard or said this? You lose 90% of your heat through your head. How many people agree? 90% of your heat through your head, you lose 90% of your heat through your head. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. How many people, in all honesty, raise your hand, have told your children that? Put a hat on, lose 90% of your heat through your head. You'll die